Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Remember, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on YouTube channel, NTA News Now. You can also visit our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, Facebook page, NTA Network News, and Instagram, NTA Network for updates. Now, ministries, departments and agencies involved in the implementation of the National Action Plans have been advised to intensify efforts in the execution of the plans towards creating a better business environment. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo gave the advice when the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which he chairs, received the midway report on National Action Plan 7.0. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
It is half-time for the ministries, departments and agencies responsible for the implementation of the National Action Plan 7.0. The plan started on February 7th this year and is to end on April 7th. So it is exactly just over midway.
And so we were looking at the progress so far. You know, we have the agro-export plan, and then we have the other initiatives, the regulatory initiatives, the automation initiative, the airport plan.
Referencing the commitment of the administration to improving the economy, the Vice President said implementing these reforms are vital towards further improving the country's business environment. Here is the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Niyi Adebayo.
The results, midterm report, which was presented to us, shows that there's still a lot of work to be done. And we listened to the report. We looked at all the areas that were touched on. A lot of the areas, especially, had to do with the ports, the level of the ports, the level of work that's going on at the ports, how the ease of exportation and importation into the country. So these are all the areas, some of the areas that were looked at, and with a view to seeing how we can improve on the situation as it is.
The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council's Secretariat has been monitoring the implementation of the National Action Plan and presented the midway scorecard to the Council.
It wasn't too encouraging where we are right now after day 30. So we really need to drill down on those escalations and to hold agencies accountable and to encourage them to push more to deliver these reforms for Nigerians.
The National Action Plan 7.0 has an implementation period of 60 days, and achieving just 26% midway is considered not acceptable. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo emphasized that what has to be done must be done to improve for the benefit of all Nigerians. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, will hold the 48th session of the Council of Foreign Ministers in Islamabad, Pakistan, with the theme Building Partnerships for Unity, Justice and Development. The 48th OIC's Council of Foreign Ministers will hold on March 22 to 23rd, 2022. It is expected that the General Secretary of OIC, Hussein Brahim Taha, will address the meeting to review the essential intersessional activities, projects and programs of the General Secretariat, in addition to the OIC's post-conference of Foreign Ministers plans. The session will, amongst other issues, address many topics and activities of the OIC General Secretariat on implementing the resolutions adopted on various issues in the Islamic world, including the issue of Palestine and Al-Qad al-Sharif, and other developments since its last session in Niamey in 2020. The session will also discuss several political files, most notably the developments in Afghanistan and its humanitarian consequences for the Afghan people and the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Senate is considering a bill that seeks to establish sickle cell disease research and treatment centers across Nigeria. The bill, which has passed second reading, is aimed at improving citizens' access to treatment, raise more awareness on the research, advocacy, and treatment of sickle cell diseases in Nigeria. The bill, sponsored by Senator Akon Iyakenyi, also seeks to ensure the conduct of early screening and enhance coordination among stakeholders.
To provide for the establishment of the Sickle Cell Disease Research and Treatment Center in teaching hospitals across the country. The objective of the bill to provide leadership in sickle cell disease research, surveillance, and treatment, to guide scientific improvements to sickle cell disease research, management, treatment, and care.
So the recommendation is very comprehensive that all the teaching hospitals will have all the centers, including federal medical centers, where these people will be able to have research and treatment centers.
Sickle cell is a disease that we are all concerned about, and if there is anything that we need to do to minimize its depressive and debilitating impact, we should do so.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the state of affairs in the Nigeria Railway Corporation following allegations of insufficiency. This is sequel to a motion from the minority leader Ndudi Elumelu, in which he made reference to incidents when trains on transit with passengers experienced breakdown. He cited a recent episode of 11th March 2022 when a train conveying passengers and goods from Lagos to Ibadan was said to have stopped midway due to insufficient fuel. House members also expressed concern over allegations of ticket racketeering and hoarding by some staff of the corporation, a situation they noted as a sabotage capable of undermining revenue generation and affects loan repayment targets. The inquiry is to be carried out within 4 weeks. Meanwhile, the scarcity of aviation fuel may soon abate as stakeholders in the sector, following an intervention by the House of Representatives, have agreed to an interim price regime. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and airlines operators attended the meeting.
This meeting being held is a continuation of last week's engagement of stakeholders in the downstream petroleum sector by the leadership of the House of Representatives to bring to an end the scarcity of aviation fuel, which operators in the industry say constitutes a threat to air travel in Nigeria.
The unit cost per seat already is about 70,000 naira per seat. About 70,000 naira per seat. You've not talked about the insurance that is very static. It's not a mono-product thing. It's a general thing across the basket. And it's not even just a local thing. It's a global thing.
In providing a lifeline to airline operators, the NNPC, NMDPRA and aviation fuel marketers have agreed to make the fuel available at 500 naira per litre for the next 3 days to save the sector from collapse.
And this can surely cause pain for the Nigerian people. There's no doubt about it. And that's why we're working with you to ensure that those pains are minimized to the barest minimum.
The stakeholders will, in the meantime, work out a realistic price regime free of discrepancies for the jet's A1 fuel.
We have come to terms. We have agreed on a number of things that will help the industry. Moving forward, we have a basis and the baseline for us to work.
Equally agreed at the meeting was the issuance of licenses to airlines operators to directly import aviation fuel. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In the meantime, as the increment in the cost of aviation fuel lingers, the airlines might just be only a few days away from shutting down operations, except there is a reversal in the cost of Jet A1. Some airline operators consider this as a serious economic sabotage in an exclusive interview with aviation correspondent Emmanuel Anyimiro.
We have no reason to understand how fuel prices can climb astronomically in days. There's no reason for it. The fuel was here already. They're not buying fuel every day. They already had the fuel. So after buying the fuel at a very cheap rate, they're taking advantage of everybody to raise the prices every morning when they wake up. We think it's a cartel, and we think that cartel needs to be stopped and corrected.
There are two major commodities that the airline operators and ground handlers rely on to carry out daily operations. Unfortunately, the cost of the two products, aviation fuel and diesel, is rising, leading to a continuous increment in airfares. Industry players are worried that the cartel is allowed to determine daily prices of each product persistently.
February 2022, you are buying the same fuel first at 390, then at 407, and by first week in March, it's 629. And there is no way you can keep the same price because fuel is a major factor in flying safety of the aircraft.
If nothing is done about the current situation, then it won't be long. Some of us will just wake up in the morning and not have enough money to buy fuel to operate. So if you have 3 or 4 people on an aeroplane that can afford it out of 140 people seats, then at some point you're going to decide, well, this is not worth it anymore.
Another important modal factor into the cost of air ticket is the ground handlers who make use of machines to complement the services of the airlines. The diesel is also a serious problem to them.
I think one of the things that we must be very careful about is that we get to a point whereby we begin to, you are trying to go to the sky, you are afraid to go to the sky because an airline or a ground company is cutting costs. Before the pandemic, I had to pay a cost of about 5-point-something million to bring in a 33,000 liters of fuel, of diesel. As of today, I pay almost about 15 million to get the same liters of diesel.
When you deregulate a sector, that means you cannot come back and fix prices or say this is the minimum price an airline can charge. Definitely airlines are allowed to increase their price according to the market.
In the long run, should operators of airline be granted licenses to import aviation fuel to avoid being held to ransom by oil marketers? Who regulates agencies responsible for monitoring, importation and sales of the products? These and many other questions serve as posers for authorities concerned to answer. Emmanuel Anyimiro, NTA News.
In our related developments, flight operations in Akwa Ibom State have been adversely affected following the hike and scarcity of Jet A1 aviation fuel in the country. Correspondent Joy Ubani reports that Nigerians in Uyo are lamenting long-term consequences of the development on the economy if not tackled.
The latest hike in the price of aviation fuel, also known as Jet A1, accompanies the scarcity of the products running into some weeks now. The reason for this is not far-fetched, as the global crude oil prices has continued to fluctuate, affecting airlines' operations in Nigeria. Some observers express fear that the challenges caused by the scarcity and hike in the price of aviation fuel and air transportation in the country may crumble the economy.
I feel bad because it's stressful. It makes my journey stressful. Even one of our members during the conference, the flight she entered, the thing almost crashed because the safe was finished.
The airlines will lose money and passengers will be kind of stranded. So it's not healthy at all.
As government and stakeholders in aviation industry continue to seek solutions to these challenges, it is the hope of Nigerians that normalcy will return to the aviation sector. In Uyo, Joy Ubani, NTA News.
Now, the fear of the unknown in the introduction of taxi app expected to regulate activities of car hire operators and bring sanity to the nation's airport is generating a lot of concerns among the car hire operators who feel sidelined. A protest to seek involvement in the scheme was staged by the taxi drivers at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Aviation correspondent Emmanuel Anyimiro reports.
In the last 2 weeks, airport taxi hire operators have been apprehensive about the introduction of a taxi app as indications emerged that they are soon likely to lose their licenses, as licenses of 7 out of 8 companies operating at the airport were not renewed by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. This has heightened their apprehension.
5,000 Nigerians, throwing them into labor market. Is it possible? And they are telling you they are not taking over our job. They are taking over the job.
Let them carry us along. Bring your MOU. Let's reason together. Let's come together. What do you want? What do we want? We'll come together. We'll harmonize it and we'll move.
In a swift reaction, FAN denied the allegation but said every airport transportation module across the globe operates on digital systems that are orderly, secure, and of high standards to boost passengers' confidence.
In the face of all the security issues all over the world, we are trying to see how the taxi man is protected, the passenger is protected, because the services of that services can be tracked and can be monitored until the passenger is satisfied. Even the carrier man.
It is hoped that both parties would resolve their differences to avoid passengers being stranded as the protests last. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
And away from the aviation sector, Nigerians are lamenting unavailability of petrol, which has resulted in long queues surfacing in filling stations. Uduak Etim reports that while some filling stations in Calabar metropolis are under lock and key, those that have the product for sale were dispensing with an increased pump price.
The fuel scarcity is inducing not just hike in transportation, but hike in prices of commodities, as petrol pump price has continued to rise on daily basis. In Calabar, the Cross River State capital, most stations are under lock and key, while few stations that open are selling the product between 165 to 200 naira per litre.
In some filling stations, you see 210. Back then in Akpabi, it's 210 naira per litre. Here, as I'm standing, it's because 165.
The experience is too tough. I just pray the government should do something about it.
It's a bit quite unfortunate that I left my work where I'm supposed to be handling a lot of things just to come and queue on the filling station to get the fuel.
The queues are there. Many filling stations are not selling.
The NNPC depot doesn't have product for now, because if NNPC depot have product, they are the ones supplying town. And we are still expecting. They've been trying all possible best. The little one that we had now, although like today, they are going to ration some few trucks for intervention.
The fuel scarcity has created avenue for the black marketers to make brisk business, as those who cannot wait on the queue patronize them. In Calabar, Uduak Etim, NTA News.
Adiola is in our Lagos Network Center with more stories on Nationwide. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Ifoma. Self-limiting tendencies and lack of empirical data on women development have continued to militate against gender parity and women aspirations to leadership positions across the African continent. This is the view of speakers at a one-day Gender Equality Forum organized by the United Nations Information Center in Lagos. Musa Toliat completes the report.
Women from different parts of the African continent gathered to discuss common issues confronting their aspirations to leadership positions and to forge a common front with a view to removing the impediments in line with the theme of this year's International Women's Day.
We need men.
Participants share peculiar experiences on women development and the role of government on the continent towards liberalizing the political space for those who intend to delve into politics.
What we want the men to do is to recognize our potential, is to recognize our ability, and to give us the space to grow as high as we want to grow.
There's no law that prevents us from attaining the highest office. It's for us also to empower ourselves, to stop those barriers and say ambassadors have to be men. I don't want to go because I don't want to lose out on this.
The need for women to come together and strategize for common good rather than continue to blame the men for gender disparity was also discussed.
Stop limiting is why we find ourselves where we are. Not the men, really. I don't believe. What I believe is we've got this potential inside of us. We need to go out. We need to be seen.
So to stop the bias, women we have to support women. There should be support system amongst ourselves.
South Africa is far advanced with gender equality legislation. We have a commission on gender equality. We have a commission on the status of women.
It is the 37th International Women's Day organized by the United Nations Information Center in collaboration with Cameroonian High Commission in Lagos. Musa Tolial, NTA News.
Now, Lagos epitomizes the vivid description of Nigeria's unity in diversity. But in spite of this bond of oneness that exists among ethnic groups, the experience of the NSAS protest pointed to one fact, that war breeds nothing but pain and losses. In brotherly love, life continues among Lagosians, but the damage caused by the crisis still lingers. In this special report, Michael Olaleye examines the cost of unrest to national life.
As a vital trade post during the pre-colonial era, Lagos was a center of attraction from people from all walks of life, and this has impacted greatly on the way of life of the people. Trade, commerce, and entertainment rule in place of religion, tribe, or political affiliations.
Lagos has that particular identity as a negotiating center for peace, for mediation, for reconciliation.
For all what Lagos has achieved and attained, the NSAS protest tested the collective resolve of the people, but not on religious, ethnic, or political fronts.
We must be careful how we encourage and enjoy dilapidation of the security agencies that we have, because there are people that we need these security agencies, no matter how little support, to create an environment for business.
The destruction of property was massive. In fact, the state government estimates quoted a figure above 1 trillion naira to rebuild Lagos.
It will take some time to restore or indemnify people who lost their assets, assuming there's any such arrangement to indemnify them, or to restore some of those losses.
Nkechi says business is one of the casualties in which investments worth 10.2 million naira went down the drain. She seems to be back on track, but nurses the pain of a failed promise from the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund.
We are all losers. Yes, I have lost all that I have in my shop, but if the government have lost something due to that attack, we have also lost, because we, the citizens, are the ones who are supposed to profit from the government.
The experience of the NSAS protest is the clear indication that in war, no victory, no vanquish.
The citizens must first and foremost think of how they can live together in unity. If there's any passive injustice, it's expected that it should be resolved amicably.
Having tasted what crisis could bring, it is an understatement that Lagosians now appreciate the importance of peaceful coexistence more than before. And there is a new resolve to nurture and water this than preach violence. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye.
And that's it from Lagos. Agatha in Benin will take us through the next set of stories after this break. But don't forget, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube at NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page at NTA Network News. Our Twitter handle is at NTA News Now, and on Instagram at NTA Network for updates. We'll be right back to stay on.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the states.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTA Television College Jos for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM. The courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. For more information, please contact NTA Television College, Jos, or the marketing department of any NTA station nationwide. Registrar, Announcer. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news, or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Thank you for staying on Nationwide. This is Benin, and here Edo State Government has appealed to the Chief of Air Staff to stamp operational services in Edo State to help address challenges of criminal activities in forest areas. Governor Godwin Obaseki made the appeal when he played host to the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Ishak Oladayo Amau, who was in Benin on working visit to Air Force units in the state. Ivio Yahiri also reports on the visit of the Chief of Air Staff to the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Ewai II.
There has been alleged cases of nefarious activities on the forest reserve. Illegal logging, kidnapping, and drugs cultivation are crimes Governor Godwin Obaseki is asking the Air Force to address through increased air surveillance.
And what we're beginning to see is from the waterways, people are coming in, going into the forest, logging illegally, going out, arming themselves, and coming to set up bases in our forests. We have worked with the Army to some operations.
For the Chief of Air Staff, his visit to the operational units in Edo is to reinvigorate the Air Force for greater performance.
We have several plots of lands allocated to the Nigerian Air Force. Be very happy if the Excellency can approve the CFOs of this land. We are prepared to make use of those lands, most especially to bring all our bases into one base.
It was also at the palace of the Oba of Benin, and interactions centered on the use of surveillance aircrafts in rural areas that have become hideouts for criminals.
Get into those areas. I'm sure that's the kind of area that criminals will go and hide. Money launderers, kidnappers, and so on and so forth.
The visit continued in a closed-door meeting with the Chief of Air Staff to get the yielded result in due time. In Benin, Ivie Oyahiri, NTA News.
And to Ondo State, the government says it is committed to collaborative initiatives for the benefit of the people. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu was speaking at a special award ceremony where the immediate national leader of Afenifere, Pa Ruben Fashoronti, and two others were awarded Heroes of the Year as the state celebrates 46th anniversary. Kayode Olorundare reports.
Ondo State is one of the 6 states made up of Southwest Geopolitical Zone in Nigeria and was created in 1976 under the military regime of General Murtala Muhammad. Ondo State is blessed with industrious and hospitable people and can publicly boast of its educated sons and daughters. Celebrating 46 years of its existence, Ondo State government in an event organized to honor 3 out of the numerous elder statesmen in the state by bestowing on them the Heroes of the Year award. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu at the ceremony said, Ondo State over the years has produced notable personalities who have contributed immensely to the growth and development of the state, hence the honor.
Remember, other departed elders who are going to join the party of the greats.
Recipients of the award were grateful to the state government for recognizing them and their contributions.
The deliberate industrialization of the state. Yes, is sending out the signal that the indomitable character and our and spirit of the state man is not negotiable.
The event was attended by notable sons and daughters of the state. In Akure, Kayode Olorundare, NTA News.
And that's it here. Nationwide returns to Ifoma in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Agatha. The Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission says it has concluded the process of reviewing the current revenue allocation formula for governments in the country. Chairman of the commission, Elias Mbam, gave the insights while declaring open the 56th Federal Executive Council meeting of the Nigeria Civil Service Union in Abuja. Neka Oko reports.
In line with the law, when you finish, you present it officially to the president, who will thereafter lay it before the National Assembly. We have finished our own. We are waiting for a confident date for the president to receive our official report.
Under the current sharing arrangement of the Federation account, the federal government takes 52.68% of gross revenue in monthly allocation. States get 26.72%, while the local government councils get 20.6%.
We did a great job. We did a lot of consultations, and all the issues that were raised by every group was taken into consideration in coming out with what will be fair to the majority of Nigerians. So I will be surprised if any group does not accept this as fair.
If approved, the revised revenue allocation formula will put to rest agitations by states and local governments for a review, as well as the inability of the current vertical formula to adequately address the current mismatch between statutorily assigned functions and tax powers of each of the 3 levels of government. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Civil Service Union Federal Council, at its 56th Federal Executive Council, has bemoaned the current fuel and power situations in the country and demanded for immediate solution. In Abuja, Neka Oko, NTA News.
Agricultural experts have emphasized the need for Nigeria to initiate a special intervention program to expedite the cultivation of wheat and other grains in the face of shortfalls arising from the Russian-Ukraine war. Discussing the implications of the war on the Nigerian economy on Good Morning Nigeria, they advised that states in the wheat-growing belt of the country, along with research agencies and farmers, be mobilized to improve capacity. Ekemini Williams has more.
For the second consecutive day, experts discussed the fallout of the Russia-Ukraine war for Nigeria, especially against the background that the country imports substantial percentage of its wheat requirements for the production of various foods in the country. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria say the country does not have strategic reserves to mitigate the shortfalls, and development planning has been defective over the years.
In building infrastructure, one of the things we list is that we've been able to build silos that can be able to take 1.2 million metric tons of grains, and they're all empty. And nobody has bothered, why they're empty. And nobody has even bothered, why did you build them in the first place?
As of today, go and check the statistics. The biggest millers of wheat in Nigeria are non-Nigerians. So apart from the fact that we have decided to import food crops that are alien to us, we have also surrendered the milling of these products to foreigners.
They urged government to step up local production of wheat through the establishment of a special intervention program in the wheat-producing belt of the country to enhance the wheat value chain.
We have a golden opportunity today through AFTA to invest more in the production of some of these products that affect the lives of our people, especially wheat.
The states that are good in wheat production, most especially the northern part whereby there is the cool Hamatan, I was thinking there should be a specialized program whereby you now give them special money, please start this production of wheat, because we all saw the war coming. And then wheat is not something that takes plenty of time. The gestation period of wheat is not long enough. 3 months you get your wheat. At least they started this war or Jojo about more than 3 months ago. So you can actually have been very proactive, and by now the wheat will have been harvested.
The Food and Agriculture Organization says price of food is at its highest in 40 years and warned countries, including Nigeria, to take proactive action, or hunger could be in the horizon for many of its citizens. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And now to security matters. Nigeria's military success in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the north is evident as applauded by the Global Terrorism Index. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, said this at the commencement of the 2022 First Quarter Chief of Army Staff Conference holding in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
These are Nigerian Army field commanders, principal officers and heads of units and formations at this periodic platform to review their operations to decisively tackle the prevailing security threats.
We shall continue to forge ahead with even greater vigor, commitment and dedication, and would not let Nigerians down.
To stem the emerging challenges, the Army upscaled force restructuring, deployment of new platforms to theaters of operation, and training in conjunction with foreign partners.
Our modest successes against the terrorists in the Northeast are being recognized and applauded in the global index. This was achieved through increased synergy with our sister services.
New enhanced welfare packages for Army personnel will be unveiled at the conference. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In the meantime, terrorism, banditry and kidnapping have been identified as some of the factors undermining the peace-building efforts, development and reintegration of the country. This was at a one-day national security campaign organized by the National Orientation Agency in Umuahia, Abia State. Steve Lona Nwokulu reports.
The sensitization workshop towards building a people of peace and enhancement of national security, the State Director, National Orientation Agency, Abia State, Ngozi Okechukwu, said could not have come at a better time than now that the country is grappling with the many challenges that are stagnating the national development.
Trying to continue discussions on the degrading and deteriorating war with terrorists, bandits, radicalization, and other forms of violent extremism that undermine the peace of our society.
To fight insecurity and engender peace, sensitization campaigns like these by the National Orientation Agency and, of course, Ministry of Information is commendable.
High points of the National Security Workshop were the investiture of Grand Patron and patrons of the War Against Indiscipline Brigade.
NTA News.
The Katsina State Police Command has repelled bandits' attack at Kankara, Matazu and Safana local government areas of the state. Police Public Relations Officer of the command, Superintendent Gambo Issa, made this known while briefing newsmen in Katsina. Awal Haliru reports.
With continued effort in fighting crimes, the Katsina State Police Command succeeded in neutralizing 4 bandits, destroyed their camps, recovered operational motorcycles and rescued animals across villages of Kankara, Matazu and Safana local government areas. The command also arrested notorious kidnapper that specializes in threatening members of the public through phone calls and demand for ransom.
Incredible intelligence was received that terrorists in their numbers on motorbikes shooting sporadically with AK-47 rifles. Pure Kankara was quickly alerted to block the exit route into the Rugu forest. The team succeeded in blocking the terrorists, successfully repelled the terrorists.
Also, an armed robbery syndicate terrorizing the local government area of the state was arrested by the police command. While restating the commitment of the command to the fight against banditry, kidnapping and other crimes, SP Gambo Issa urged members of the public to continue to cooperate with security agencies in the ongoing onslaught against terrorism. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
Time now to link up with Zinret in our Just Network Center for reports making rounds from that end. Zinret, over to you.
Ifoma. Former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon says the construction of a flyover at the British-American Junction, Jos, will no doubt reduce traffic congestion in the area and improve transportation in the city. He stated this while flagging off the project. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
General Yakubu Gowon, in company of Governor Simon Lalong and governors of Niger, Kwara, and Deputy Governor of Edo State, flagging off the groundbreaking for the construction of overhead bridge at the British-America Junction and dualization of Lamingo Junction roundabout. General Gowon says it is an honor for him to be part of the epoch-making event meant to drive the developmental process of the state.
Have done exceptionally well.
Governor Simon Lalong says the construction is part of keeping to his administration's campaign promises of providing critical infrastructure to the citizens.
We are able to consolidate on achievements in road infrastructure. The total sum of 12 billion naira has so far been expended by our administration on payment of outstanding costs of projects unfinished by the previous administration.
More and more people have migrated from rural areas to urban areas and the cities. So there is need to improve on infrastructure, and that is what Governor Lalong will do.
Commissioner for Works, Pam Botman, assures that the 1.7-kilometer interchange project will be completed within a span of 12 months. Other dignitaries appreciate Governor Lalong for his efforts in turning around the fortunes of the state positively. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
The Federal Ministries of Health and Agriculture and Rural Development are collaborating to set up a technical working group towards actualizing the production of human vaccine in the country. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sage Hanire, stated this when the two ministers visited the National Veterinary Research Institute, NVRI VOM, in Denyang and Abuja, reports.
The visit by the ministers to NVRI is to assess the facilities on ground as the federal government is working to ensure the development of human vaccine, especially with the challenge posed by COVID-19. The ministers were briefed by the Director General, Dr. Mariam Mohammed, about the research institute that has developed more than 20 animal vaccines. Dr. Mariam took the ministers around facilities at the institute, including ongoing biosafety GMP laboratory.
They have the infrastructure and they also have the experience in production to be able to join the community of those who are producing the human vaccines.
We take the first option about 6 months to 9 months, or the second option about a year to a year and a half. And I think I consulted with the Minister of Health. I think the sooner we do this, the better.
Key players at the visit noted that NVRI has highly skilled personnel that will turn challenges into opportunities and help realize the goal of being a human vaccine production country.
We had already started concrete work for a vaccine production facility that will be able to scale up production of vaccines to up to 1 billion doses of vaccines per annum.
Human vaccines needs a lot of guards and controls, and I believe that it is doable with collaboration.
They were all optimistic that NVRI can be positioned to be used beyond COVID-19 in Jos, in Denyang and Abuja. NTA News.
That's it from Jos. News continues with Adebola in Ibadan after this break.
Ever-busy ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, the construction of a 1.6-kilometer-long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it is deserving of all the applause.
All the thrills and all the action on Nigeria's biggest dance reality show. Glow Battle of the Year is on NTA every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Administrative principles, processes, and practices. Date 11th March to 31st March 2022, 4 weeks. Modern trends in broadcast media marketing. Date 14th March to 13th April 2022, 4 weeks. Basic broadcast accounting and auditing. Date 4th April to 19th April 2022, 2 weeks. The course fee for the 1-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 150,000 naira, while the course fee for the 4-week course is 180,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
To Ibadan. The hike in the price of diesel has continued to affect measure. Ifeoluwa Omoshule spoke with some residents of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Her report is here presented.
Nigerians began to heave a sigh of relief from the sudden scarcity of PMS, otherwise known as petrol, with the attendant increase in the price of the product. The upstream of the oil sector is witnessing another hike, this time around of AGO, otherwise known as diesel. From about 420 per litre a few weeks ago, the product now goes for between 650 Naira and 750 Naira per litre, depending on the source.
We are just retailer outlet owners. That is what we buy from private depot that we sell to the masses.
Fight between Ukraine and Russia has been the major factor.
When I started working here, I met it at the rate of 290. So, and since then, that hasn't been stable.
As expected, this has begun to take its toll on the consumers of the commodity.
Those of us who are into business that you can't just increase the price immediately, we are definitely at a great loss.
You see that the price of goods and commodities are going up every day. The cost is affecting the cost of production.
As expected, this has begun to take its toll on the consumers of the commodity. Although AGO is available and being dispensed at most filling stations visited, marketers and buyers appeal for prompt action that will reverse this trend of the hiking price.
Following the effect of climate change on food production, a number of seeds that can withstand the challenges of climate change are being produced. Correspondent Kayode Oladesu has an update.
In the ozone layer, greenhouse gases, and climate change are part of factors that affect agricultural production. Hence, the engagement of critical stakeholders in a bid.
We sincerely apologize for the low audio from our Ibadan Network Center. But do remember, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on YouTube channel NTA News Online. You can also visit our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, Facebook page NTA Network News, and Instagram NTA Network for updates. The trial seeking to restrain the All Progressives Congress and the interim caretaker chairman, Governor Mimala Buni, from holding a national convention of the party has been stalled before the Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Kubwa. This came as a result of a clash between two counsel on whom to represent the first and second defendants, the All Progressives Congress and the interim caretaker chairman, respectively. The suit, which was filed by one Salihu Umar, had to be adjourned to Thursday, 17th of this month, to enable the two counsels sort themselves out as the representation of the All Progressives Congress and the interim caretaker chairman. Two counsel had announced their appearance for both the APC and interim caretaker chairman. As a result of this, the court said it could not proceed with the hearing until the representation is sorted out. Let's now join our sports desk for sports updates.
The Nigerian Football Federation says